What is the deal, beautiful people?
What's good?
My name is Ramon.
And I am Tawan. We are back again.
I want to thank you guys. We got hit on Twitter. We got hit on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Everyone's like, what do you think of that Windows 10? So here we go.
And there's a lot of features to that bloody Windows 10.
Man.
It's a load of features.
Man. So before we dive into the features, there's a lot around it that people need to understand.
Yeah, we got to start off.
There's a lot of noise, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you guys been, if you're new to the channel, then hang with us. If you've been sitting here for a while, you know the crucible, as Destiny will call it, that goes on around here with people who act as if, Windows 8 is rocket science.
Of course.
You can't figure it out. We don't like that type of behavior here.
Yeah. It's just,
it's something new. Take your time. Pay attention to it for 5 minutes and you will learn it.
It's like something old new. It really is. Like, it's really like this. It's old. It's very Windows 7-ish.
No, I'm not talking about Windows 10. I'm talking about Windows 8.
Oh,
I'm talking about people that, I can't use that. I don't know what that is. I didn't like that approach.
Yeah.
So the most obvious thing here is the name.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going around about the name. Well, so the current version is Windows 8.
8.1, no?
Yeah, 8.1, whatever you want to call it. There's the next logical version would have been Windows 9.
Right, but you know why they did that.
I know.
I know why.
Well, we all think we know why.
Yeah.
So according to the trolls, 789. Have you heard this one before?
7, 8, 9, okay.
Like 7 ATE. Like 8 for lunch, 8 for dinner, 9.
Really?
that was a joke. That was something running around Twitter for a while. Then one of the proposed reasons was they wanted to get rid of the stigma that Windows 8 had. I don't know. People assume
what stigma?
I don't know. This is the thing. People think like Windows 8 wasn't selling well,
I'm
or
gonna take a drink of my.
Or they say again. I feel like we go through this every version of Windows. The last version was Vista. Windows 7 came out like two and a half, almost 3 years later, and everyone's like, "Look, see, they rushed Windows 7 to market because Vista sucked." It was like, are you paying attention? Like that's
Vista
the release cycle,
right? But Vista really didn't suck.
Because if Vista sucked, then Windows 7 would have sucked.
Mm-hmm.
And if Windows 7 is so great, then how is Windows 8 not? It's sort of it's.
Well, you know what? Windows 8 was Microsoft's attempt at attacking Apple. I feel.
I don't think so.
You know why? Because I feel like they went with the tablet style apps for the Metro UI. The modern UI.
The modern UI.
Lord forbid I say Metro UI.
No more.
But and they needed a system that complemented the tablets that were coming out. You had the Surface tablets, and I mean, I just could not see running Windows 7 style.
No, for sure.
On a Surface.
It couldn't, because the UI is like a UI that's meant for a mouse and a keyboard, or something as the control you have of a mouse is like astronomical versus like your finger. You're so much more precise with a mouse. We can't do that.
Right.
Then you start getting into this weird zone where you need a stylus. You don't want none of that.
Oh, ye styli.
With your Sony thing here. So you are right, but I don't think they were going after Apple. I think they were going after that one Windows world. That's when we first heard it back when Bomber was still around, it was this introduction to this one Windows, and now it's really coming to fruition a lot more. Like we can see it in plain day now. What I think Windows 8 stood for was the introduction of a UI that had to happen. You get what I mean? So if we fast forward to Windows 10 now and this enterprise preview, which we'll get into why it's an enterprise preview, it's supposed to, Windows 10 will be intelligent enough where it'll know when there's a keyboard attached.
Right.
And when there's a keyboard attached, then here's your start menu. When there's no keyboard, here's your modern UI. You can't really pull that off out the gate. You gotta wean people into that. You know what I mean? There could have been better ways to do it with Windows 8.
Yeah.
But I don't think Windows 8 was a bad way to do it.
I don't think Windows 8 was a bad anything.
No.
You know?
No.
It's but of course.
So back to the naming convention here before we carry on, get off and rants. Anything Windows is what happens around here. Fanboys, I don't deny it.
Yeah.
I think the most promising answer as to why they skipped 9 was it had to do with legacy code.
Right.
And a lot of the compatibility mechanisms built into Windows checks code having to pertain with Win 9.
Right.
And Win 9 is translated to Windows 98 and Windows ME. So
95, 98.
Right. And Microsoft is very protective of legacy.
Right.
So much so that people don't even know that they're like that, and it's they don't appreciate it until you buy a Mac and Apple says, "Oh no, 10.1.2, we don't care about you before that." Then you start to say, "Well, this never happened when I had a PC." Like, no, it doesn't, because Microsoft goes to huge lengths to make sure that legacy is protected. So, I think that's not a bad
explanation.
Yeah, right.
You know what? The problem is the trolls still was like, I don't buy it. You know, but I mean, it makes sense.
It does.
You know,
there's a few legitimate coders out there that say, yeah, well,
yeah,
crisis averted. That would have been an issue.
Yeah. So and unlike the Apple side of things, I mean, they would have just let it roll and like everything would have been a mess. No,
they just would not have cared about any legacy. Apple doesn't care about, like when they went from OS 9 to OS 10, it was nuts. They didn't support anything OS 9. They didn't care about you. They didn't care if you just bought that thing last holiday season. It was a wrap for that.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they continue to do that. They only support, I think it's like 3 revisions down.
Right.
So, you know, a lot of the stuff that came out when Steve Jobs was alive, it's no longer supported.
Good God.
Yes. Anyway, let's dig in, man.
Yeah.
These features. No, in no particular order.
Right.
What do you got? What do you got for number 1 here?
Command line improvements. Windows command line has finally been updated to support standard text selections, cut, copy, paste, operations, and keyboard shortcuts.
It means nothing to you.
I mean,
means everything.
It means something to me. It does, just like I said, it doesn't mean as much to me as it does to you. Yeah. Because I know what you do versus what I do.
I'm in that shit all day long.
Yeah. Yeah. And
God damn it, Microsoft, thank you.
Cutting and coding. That's a major thing.
Let me tell you. I'll take my blessings when I can get them. It's like 20 years late, but it's here. The File Explorer.
File Explorer move. I noticed now. Now here's where I move into play. My music, my pictures, my music alone takes up probably about, I want to say maybe 65% of my daily usage. All right,
you do have a lot of music.
Yes, I do.
A lot of Britney Spears, yes.
Yes, Britney Spears, Miley Cyrus, all of that. But you know, I noticed obvious changes. There was some, some architectural changes. There was some skinning changes.
Right, the shading's a little different on the icons.
Right, but the most notable change that I recognized was just like the layout. It's I want to call it a portrait layout. Everything falls in scale to starting with the with your base computer, this computer, so on and so forth. Then your drives, then you filter down to folders, so on and so forth.
It's a mixed bag, but it works unexpectedly genius.
Yeah.
Does that even make sense? It's not until you look at it and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
And the way it sort of learns your most accessed folder structures over time. Mm-hmm. Like I have a folder on the desktop that I keep I call it the video studio, where I keep like all the raw files and then our new files, and I'm constantly in that folder.
Right.
That thing is like number one, and it's so convenient to not have to, Control D to the desktop and go into it like it's there. It's all there. I think they did a good job. There's still like, I remember when like there was a complete in Longhorn, which was then called Vista. There was a lot of talk about the way the file structure was set up, and a lot of that never made it into Windows. And even to this day, a lot of it still didn't make it into Windows. But it's nice to see them looking at the file structure and saying, all right, let's give this some attention here.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Snap improvements.
Snapping is dope. You snap? You snapping right now? Yeah. Actually,
absolutely.
I can't imagine. I miss that on. I need that on Windows Phone.
Yeah.
On my 1520, I need.
That's probably a very missed feature.
And especially like
those phones
with the real estate of a 1520 versus like a Dell Venue Pro, not the same real estate, but still big enough. Let me snap something.
Right. It needs an SDK for it.
Well, it's coming. We're gonna tie that in a minute. It's coming. But snapping is dope. It's easier. It's a lot easier to snap left, right, 3 up to 4 different windows.
Right. And it's wild now. It has this like, you have this. Well, I don't have it on my laptop, but it's like the magnifying glass right next to the start menu. It pops up like multiple windows. It lets you see what your legacy looks like versus what your app world or modern UI app looks like. And it was just like, I mean, that's not snapping actually, but
that's part of the task manager.
Yeah.
But the point. And the task manager would have been the next feature we mentioned.
Right.
Is they come together in a very seamless way.
Yeah.
Whereas these are not, in previous versions of Windows, these were 2 totally different commands, 2 totally different way of doing things. Now they sort of just merged them together, and it's like, oh well, one does make sense to go with the other. Mm-hmm. So the task manager, like control, if you hold Alt Tab. I'm so terrible. Like I do them every day. You don't think about it. But Alt Tab looks completely different now. It has like this, like you were just saying. It's this whole. The Mac guys would call it what is it called? It's not mission control. It's called something or the other on Mac. Whatever it is, we don't care.
Yeah,
but it's very reminiscent of that. Yeah, which is a bad. I'm really happy to see them clean that up. The multiple desktops is another one that goes into that workflow of how things are managed. Multiple desktops is a geeky thing.
Yeah,
This is coming from Linux.
Here and there. When you got multiple monitors, you really multitasking.
I think multiple desktops is a solution for people who couldn't get multiple monitors.
Right.
But even so, like
now it's just worse when you have multiple monitors.
Yeah, it all becomes like a mechanism for you to organize your workflow and really turn off one set of projects or work versus the other. I've never been a fan of multiple desktops, but I've been playing with it at home.
It works.
It works, but it's not for me. Meaning, like I had a desktop set up for just like video editing, and then one for photo editing, and then like I don't operate that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I have Outlook open, and that's my environment. I have Photoshop open. That's my environment. I have Vegas open. I'm editing. I don't necessarily need to not see them next to each other. You know what I mean? Because I feel like for me to switch desktops, although it is really easy, it takes me out of like some sort of a work mode,
right,
to jump back and forth. But I guess to some people that's what's needed. I don't know. I know it's a very Linux thing. The Linux guys love multiple desktops. That's been around for a long time.
the start menu.
The start menu. This is the big one.
Yeah, that's probably the most notable. Yeah,
This is the big one.
very Windows 7-ish.
Yeah. So like we mentioned before, they, depending on the machine you're running it on,
right,
you will get a view. So if you're in a desktop PC, you won't get the modern UI. You'll get this start menu.
Right. Right.
But there was something had to happen, because apps from the App Store, from the market, or Metro apps, or modern apps, whatever you would call them, they're not going away. That's the future.
Right.
So live tiles is a thing of now, which is why I refuse to give any merit to iOS. I mean, at least Android gets it. There's widgets. You know what I mean? If I can't see information at glance without engaging, then you're just not efficient. That's how I feel.
I agree with that.
Some people don't.
That's something I was really trying to get across, in, I guess, showing people the difference between a Windows phone and an iPhone. Like, if I set an iPhone on this table and then set a Windows phone next to it, and I say, look at both phones, you see one, you see the other, how much information did you get from one versus the other?
For sure.
You have no choice but to say the Windows phone, because the Windows phone is giving you information on screen right now, whereas the iPhone is just staring back at you like, imagine Siri talking like, what do I do now? You know what I'm saying?
They're making a mess of Siri in those Microsoft commercials.
Yeah, Cortana is really putting the beats on her. So, I mean,
it's night and day. It's like people go to the gym.
Yeah.
You see gym rats, and a regular person goes to the gym, bangs out 15 reps in 5 sets, and then there's a gym rat that's just looking at him like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
All you need is 3 sets in 8 reps. With a proper form, you get in, get out. It's tough to explain this to somebody, because they feel like, no, I like to do it my way, and I'm working, I'm sweating, like I'm getting it. Like, no, you're not. You're not efficient.
Yeah, you'll be like me. Even though my form was fine, but you'll be like me when I went on vacation last year in pain for 3 days.
You almost broke your neck. What did you do?
Son, no, I was doing the rear press straight up, and I did like, oh man. And see, what I do is I do diamonds. Okay. So I go from 10 down.
Okay.
And that can be kind of rough. I was used to doing that when I was on a constant workout basis, but now I just go back into the gym and I think I can do diamonds, and I'm like, oh my god,
almost died,
son. My arms felt like they were going to fall off. I was crying for 2 days. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? I got through it.
Now you got live tiles.
Yeah, I have live tiles. But the start menu. The start menu is also resizable. You can edit the look of it. You can resize tiles. You can resize the literal start menu. It's like, it's not just one big wall of apps. Right. It's you can literally.
So it still has the same index.
Excuse me, change it. Yeah,
it still has the same index and feature. So if you click start and type Office,
right,
it'll give you a list of results. Now it even does files, universal files on the desktop. It has the ability to bring back web results. The start button, the turn on off standby button is at the top now.
Yeah, yo, I kept fucking going to the side, looking for charms.
Still go to the side, because the charms are disabled in the preview.
Right, but it will be back. I'm understanding.
It'll be there.
And
it's there.
Changed.
So, for instance, if you go into File Manager and you select a file and then you go to Share, the Share actually pops up the charms on the side, and then it'll say, "Oh, how do you want to share it? Or what do you want to share it to?"
Right.
So it's there. But the start menu was the way they did it was a real genius way to keep the live tiles. relevant.
I thought that was dope.
You know what I mean? So
dope.
you can hit start and get your information and not have it, because a lot of people, believe it or not, I've seen some really good points where people say it's not that Windows 8 is not intuitive, it's not hard to use. It's just that it's a jarring effect to go from a desktop to hit start and then boom,
right,
a large grid of tiles in your face. Like, okay, I get that. This is literally
more subtle way,
a mesh of the two.
Right.
That you literally can't complain anymore.
Yeah, they can.
They will.
They will.
They will.
You know.
So the start menu is a dope one. This one is the big guy to me.
Apps.
Universal apps.
Yeah.
So Satya Nadella said Windows will run on everything. Mm-hmm. This man is not playing. What does everything mean? So Xbox One.
Yeah.
It's gonna be running on that. And when that gets pushed, when Windows 10 hits Xbox One, out comes DirectX 12. Which is what we spoke about a long time ago.
Yeah, we did.
Windows Phone. The core of Windows Phone now gets updated to Windows 10. So that snapping thing that we were just wishing for could be a reality.
Yeah.
ARM devices. Now this is a gray area. We don't know what they're doing yet. They didn't say what they're doing.
Because ARM, ARM was always hand in hand with RT.
Right.
And
but RT, they have the ability to open that up to the real desktop.
Oh, yeah.
The only problem is, it's not going to be as power efficient as it was.
Right.
There's limitations to it, but it can be done. So we're waiting to see, if they're going to say, no, yeah, come on, guys. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's there. Then you got your desktop. You got your tablets like the Dell Venue Pro. Mm-hmm. It's literally everything everywhere. Yeah. And when that happens, there's one app store. So think of how this goes now. Facebook. And this is dope because Android does this already with the SDKs. Mm-hmm. You develop your code, and then they give you, here's what it looks like on this side to that side screen. Here's what it looks like on that side to that screen. And you pretty much just rearrange things. Mm-hmm. It's the same code, the same app, but it runs a little different or looks a little different. Things are spread out differently based on what device it's on.
Right.
So this is becoming a huge deal now, because think of PC gaming. Think of gaming. Think of when Halo 6 is released. Halo 6 gets installed on everything from my phone to my tablet, my Xbox, my PC. This is huge. Think of Office. Office is just not one version.
Yeah.
There's so much that's involved in this undertaking. It's mind numbing. We gotta see how they do this. Right. And no one's been able to pull this off before. Mm-hmm. But then again, no one's had to go through the gripes Microsoft did with Windows 8.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. And they've been pulling it together.
And make no mistake, Windows, if anybody can roll with the punches, is Microsoft.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I find that Apple does things a little differently. And until they get knocked out with something, then it's okay, I have to change.
Right.
The quagmire with Windows 8, 8.1, so on and so forth was, people were not as accepting of it because it was different.
Right.
And that's the overtone of Windows 8.1.
Right.
And 8 is people were not accepted of change. And it was oh my God, what did you do to Windows? What did you do to Windows 7? Windows 7 was so great. And that's what my issue with, Windows 8 was. And they didn't pull an Apple though. They said, well, you know what? We listen, we'll give you.
That's the most admirable thing they could have ever done.
Yeah.
For Windows 10. They for crying out loud, there's a feedback part of this thing.
Yeah.
They want to know.
And I have indulged in the
very good.
The feedback.
That's what you're supposed to do. Do you know how we've never gotten a preview builds of Windows this early.
Yeah.
They're literally winging this thing. They're saying, boom, we heard you, we fixed it, look at it now.
Yeah.
You like it?
And
what do you like? Is it okay?
But oh my God. The problem is people, it kills me because people are going to pick it apart and find something wrong with it. Get rid of the modern UI apps. Oh my.
But that's the difference between. And by the way, one of the smarter things they did was also the modern apps can be windowed.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if they're a modern app or not. It can be in a window like a regular app.
Right. You can minimize them.
So that's important. That helps. Right. But I feel like that's the difference between Windows and the competitor, which would be like a Mac OS. Is Apple likes to tightly control the experience and how they feel you should use the product, and it's about 10 people that uses it.
Right.
Whereas there's Microsoft who has to make this thing suffice for 100,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that? It's a very challenging thing. It's almost next to impossible. Somebody somewhere will always be unhappy with something.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no one that's ever totally happy with a version of Windows. I'm not totally. There's shit in there. I'm like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
You're killing me. You know what I mean? But it is the way it is. You know what I mean? It's a very who said that? You know, if you that's Hove said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want old Hove, buy old Hove.
Not even that. You know, if you think you can, or was it Kanye? You think you can do better? You do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Let me see you do it.
Ho said that to the Damon Dash situation. He was like, if you think you can make a Hove over, basically make another Hove. You know what I'm saying?
It's not easy.
Nah.
But I really do like the direction they're going. I like the fact that there's zero to no there's no ego here, there's no hubris.
Right.
It's just guys, we've been working really hard. Here's this product. How do we go from here? Like they're treating us as a community now.
Yeah.
There's something like 1 million people downloaded it. Mm-hmm. People are interested. And the one thing I want to get across is this is a developer preview. Very solid, by the way.
Yeah. And I haven't run into any problem.
No, I mean rightly so. This is technically Windows 8.4, I think would be the internal version number.
Right.
This is Windows 8, people. You know what I mean? Like they're tweaking the hell out of it. Just like Vista, people thought Windows 7 was this whole other option. Like, no, it's Vista. You get what I mean? Like, so I really like the direction they're going here. And I must say, this is dope. This is dope.
That start menu was God, man.
I love the start menu.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd say it, but I do like I had to go back and sort of look at the way I use the start menu and the way I would hit start and type certain things and bring up certain searches. Yeah. In Windows 8 it would be off to the right side.
Right.
Turn here, it's in the start menu. So literally it's no different to me. It just doesn't take me out of the experience to do it, which I didn't mind. But somebody somewhere is going to be happy about that.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah, they're gonna be like, oh, thank you, God, there is one.
And then the rumors, it will be free to Windows 8 users.
Of course.
Man,
why wouldn't it?
Man,
why wouldn't it? Thank you. And my
that's
watch goes off. I think we've covered everything.
I think so, man.
And look,
Windows 8. I'm running it on my MacBook Air,
and I'm running it on my desktop. There's a lot of other things. There was actually an update to it, so what was it? Maybe about 4 days ago, there was an update.
Oh yeah, they'll be pushing. They'll be pushing.
Yeah,
we'll actually have it. I think the rumor is it'll go like a few months past the release of the Windows 10.
Right.
Because they'll still want to push new updates, and they want to use it as a battleground to squash any bugs that come out after release. So
right. If you guys are digging Windows 10, I'm digging it. I know he's digging it. Leave your comments. Ask any questions. We'll tap them into our Ask Me Anything. Listen, the thumbs up if you liking this video. If you subscribe if you have not, and let us know, what do you think about Windows 10? Holla at us.
I'm going to the Apple Store tomorrow and boot camp one of them things. I'm on it. My name is Ramon.
I am Tuan, and we are out of here. Peace.